What's going on, world? Welcome back to our Train Mind, Body, Soul, and OG for God. So I want to share something with you guys. So I have been mentoring and helping the homeless and helping the less fortunate out for over a decade since I got out of prison 13 years ago. Getting out of the behavior modification program that was called Pier 1, which helped and saved my life from changing my behaviors. What I thought was normal was not normal at all. What your norm, if you're into the drugs, getting arrested, going to jail, like, oh, that's all a normal part of the life. Like, man, that's not the life you want to live. But today I'm going to talk about one of the dumbest flexes I ever did as a youngster. But I am in Ybor City giving back to the community I once took from. And, you know, I put a lot of my time in Ybor City because I once did dirt out. I did dirt out here a lot, man. And a lot of people can verify this information, man. Back in the day when the raids were going on, I don't know, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 2000. All those years, man, I ended up becoming an ex-dealer. I was D-Plug, one of D-Plugs. And, you know, I don't know if you guys are from Tampa, you guys know 1509, Pleasure Dome, Empire, Ozone, Turtle Club, Fantasy Ranch, Boatyard, Sanctuary, Moongate, Storm, man. So I was the plug, man. And so I come out here to Ybor to try to do, since I did dirt back here, man, I want to do good now, man. You know, like I always remember, now that I know what I know, I used to be mob deep for sin. Now I want to be mob deep for Jesus. So I am in Ybor quite a bit because I want to give back to the community I once took from. I thought selling drugs was a like, it don't hurt nobody. But in actuality, it does, man. If you think of all the money spent that these kids didn't have to eat, or the electric that they didn't get paid, or everything that wasn't able to be paid because of the drug use, man. I found this out later when I got to Pier 1. That helped me save my life. You know, when it comes to selling drugs, it affects a lot. It affects the kids, it affects families, it affects behaviors, and it affects the life. Dumbest flex I did. What's going on, world, man? In order for me to give you true behavior changes and things that have changed my life, I'm literally putting myself in locations. I'm out here giving back to the needy, but this is a club called 1509. I want to give you accurate experiences that I've had, and these are verifiable moments. You know, because truth and honesty, bro, when you go to jail, you go to prison, man, everybody's a baller, shot caller, but that's all not real. So I'm going to give you verifiable information. So there were drug dealers, you know, big time guys that I knew back in the day, and they used to call me the king of the clubs. They didn't understand how I was able to do what I do in the clubs without getting caught. And well, I had my ways, you know what I mean? Sneaky and devious behavior, which I learned when I was in Pier 1. But I'm going to tell you a time right here at 1509, and then I'm going to give you another experience. So when I was in this club and I was doing my thing, man, undercover cops would come and ask me, hey, do you have any ecstasy? Like, who talks like that, first of all? Second is my demeanor. Could you imagine me going like, do I know you? Do you know me? And so they would scurry off, you know what I mean? I wasn't really nice when it came to people who I didn't really know. But, you know, it's a cat and mouse game. I'm not going to say do that because I was, you know, I'm anointed by God to give you these stories. You know, I was divinely protected despite doing nonsense. And I got the grace that I didn't deserve. But I'm going to tell you another time, man. I was at Sanctuary. It was a club that opened up on Kennedy. And I go there with quite a few people. And, you know, I'm ready. It's a new club opening up. And as soon as we get to the club, all my homeboys are like, yo, bro, these people keep asking me for X. They keep asking me for X. And I said, how they saying it? How they doing it? So now we realize, I mean, a dumb flex back in the days. Imagine a big old thick chain nameplate that's like this big. So when I got to the clubs, man, people knew, oh, man, everything's here. So I remember telling all my homeboys, everybody that I knew, to go outside, meet me across the street, and I literally gave everything out so I could be obnoxious to these police. Not that they deserved it because they was doing their job, but just imagine my demeanor. I was mob deep. But truth of the matter is, man, I was literally, this could be a cop, and I'm literally looking at this cop like this, all in his grill, because you wanted to find out who I was, so now you get to find out. I ain't had no drugs. They didn't deserve that. I shouldn't have done that. But I was already a known drug dealer back in the day. You know, there was people who literally used to say, Sam, I don't want you to be seen in my car, because then we're going to get pulled over, because I was a known that person back in the day. But that was just one of the things, man. As I rode through the streets like I used to do back in the day, just in a more positive way. This place behind me used to be Pleasure Dome. Now it's a condos, apartment complex. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm gonna tell y'all something that I didn't realize maybe back in the day, or if I did realize, I didn't really care. So I used to go to these clubs and pop in bottles of Magnum Moet as if no one was going to figure it out. And then when you pull out a knot, like, yeah, that's what it used to look like. As if people aren't going to see. I was trying to do a flex that just got me more noticed, man. But it was a cat and mouse game. I thought it was part of the life. So before I get into this dumb flex and what I did with the vehicle, like I said, 4-door BMW, man. It was all decked out, and you know, later on, a cop ended up telling me, like, what do you think we think you do driving this as young as you are and you don't work? Which means they was following me, man. But it was even my clients were like, bro, what are you thinking driving this? And I'm like, man, it was always about that image. But popping bottles, the nicest cars and stuff like that. But it really don't matter, man. Now that I look back, man, it was craziness. But I want to tell y'all something. I used to keep in contact with people who were in prison. And there was a buddy of mine who I did a lot of dirt with. You know, he called collect, and I started talking to him. And what he told me was like, bro, your name's all in the prison system. And I'm like, what's that mean? What you talking about? And he was like, bro, everybody's saying the same thing. And I'm like, and what was that? And he was like, bro, everyone is saying you were out there balling. Because I was. And I'm not trying to glorify, but truth of the matter is the changed behavior is the best apology. I just want to give you true live information, because there's people out there who say, well, blah, 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 blah. But, you know, all this is confirmable. But the reason why I bring this dude up, man, I got into a high-speed chase in that BMW with a state trooper. And I was already speeding. He was, you know, I was on Independence, and he was facing the other way. So when I went by him speeding, yes, I had drugs on me, and yes, I had a female with me. So when I saw those lights come on, man, I literally downshifted and I was gone. The big body Beamer, it was fast, and it was taking corners. But the female that I was with literally was like, you gotta pull over, you gotta pull over. And then, bro, you talking about for at least 5 minutes straight, bro, I'm trying to outrun this cop, which I did. But I can't be high-speed chase with this girl freaking shaking me all everywhere. So I pulled over, man, over there by Georgian Memorial at a 7-Eleven. And we literally waited for that cop for at least 5, 6, 7 minutes. But I ended up getting arrested for that, man. After that, my license got suspended because I was drinking and driving, and I continued to get pulled over. So I ended up hiring a lawyer who took me to, like, he went to court for me, but because I caught 6 driving without a licenses. Because every time they saw my car, they was pulling me over. And there are other people who got arrested in my Beamer because my car was very noticeable, and people got arrested for driving it. We had, you know, we had dirt. We thought because they had a license, everything would be good. But I was already a known drug dealer and a known bad boy. But the reason why I say that is, so my lawyer literally tells me, he says, you catch one more, there's nothing I can do for you. I will never represent you again. And so he told me what to do. And I was like, all right. So I never drove it anymore. I let other people drive it. But because I kept getting in trouble in that car, I knew I had to get rid of it. So that same homeboy that was talking to me in prison literally gets out, and he's fresh, and he's using like his work van to get everywhere. And I literally gave him an offer, man. Tell me this ain't some G things right here. I literally said, bro, if you want to ride, man, I'm going to trade my BMW in for you, and you can get whatever car you want. I said, you know, And I literally told him, but at the same time, like, man, I'm gonna tell y'all about a false arrest that I got in the BMW where they were trying to lead me to my best friend's murder, and I didn't do it. Truly didn't do it. And we're gonna talk about that later, because I'm gonna show y'all the instance, and I beat these charges in court. But let me go back to it. So he goes to work, man, and literally he goes to work that morning, and he comes back like, I don't know, like an hour and a half later, and he says, bro, are you serious about what you said? I said, yeah, man, I keep getting in trouble. These cops know my Beamer, so I need to get rid of it, man. And so we literally went down, and I traded it in, and he literally bought a Camaro RS 350 5.7. You know, I think it was 6-speed. But regardless, man, I ended up doing him a solid, and he ended up paying me later, because one of the things that my lawyer told me to do is like, bro, the only way I can get you out of trouble is if you do this, this, and this. So I checked myself into a rehab. I did this, and I did everything he said. And so when I went to court, man, this lawyer had a serious mouthpiece on him, because that judge was mad. He wanted to send me to prison so bad, but because I was in an in-house treatment program, he literally gave me a suspended sentence for 6 driving without licenses. And you know, he was just so mad. But what was pretty cool about this is that I'm looking at my lawyer like this, and his mouthpiece was so good. Like, literally, you know, suspended sentence, and everybody behind us saw what he did. So as soon as I turn around, man, everybody's like, yo, what's his name? Yo, what's his number? Yo, what's his name? Yo, what's his number? Because his mouthpiece was serious, man. And that same lawyer has got me out of a lot of stuff, but he has a good mouthpiece in Hillsborough County. Man, I hope y'all like this, man. I want to give y'all confirmation, man. I was mentoring before I started all this, but because I got light, I have the Holy Spirit in me, and I'm a chosen one. I was speaking with someone yesterday who wants help, who wants what I got and willing to go to any lengths to get it. But because I talk about spiritual warfare and I talk about a lot of things that are going on in my life, this person was able to literally see the confirmations from God. I'm literally talking about my gifts, and the gifts happen in front of this person. How amazing is God, man? I'm telling you, man. I like mentoring. I also love that Jesus has my back, and I'm anointed by God, because I can come from the school of hard knocks. Remember, addiction counseling, motivational speaking. I've owned a business, became a real estate investor, became a teacher, became a lot of things that a lot of people said I can't do. So full time is going to be mentoring people and helping everybody get out the trenches and out the gutter, because it is possible. If I can change my ways, you can change your ways, and don't think nothing different, because I was a career habitual criminal, man. We can do this together as a community. Iron sharpens iron. Y'all stay up. Y'all stay blessed. Much love.